Hi, welcome to the StockinetteZombies. I'm Amy, also known as JKnitMom.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run Knit. And this is episode 249.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
250 around the corner.
We're in the home stretch. It may be February, but we'll get there. We have to laugh at ourselves because I think we still in our minds have this expectation of weekly. And I know there are lots of podcasts out there that aren't weekly. But it just, it's funny. Yeah. It's entertaining to us because we both feel like, man, what have we been doing? How long has it been?
Yeah.
It's last year since we podcasted, Amy.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it just feels like, we should have, no? Okay, well, tonight's the night.
It is.
Here we go.
Here we go. Did you have a good, you hosted Christmas?
I did. It was a full house. A good time was had by one and all. It was a little stressful, but we rolled with it, and it was good.
I got to see my children do some like Minnesota Nice, almost cringing, because my dad and my brother decided to have a conversation about something that had happened in the past that was kind of conflictful. And so Ellie just sat there and kept being like, but isn't it fun that it snowed outside? It's just the Minnesota niceness in it, in her just was like, let's not talk about this stressful thing. Let's talk about... So yes, it was good to see Aquaman, Uncle Matt, and be back home for Christmas. My mom often gets like pre-prepared meals that just need to be heated, from like Hy-Vee, like a package deal. Even that is a lot of work.
Okay.
So I can only imagine if you were making things, just heating up stuff, and that constant revolving of. But we had a nice extended, Jeremy's father came, and so that was nice, and we did some, we always go on a Christmas Eve walk and look at my parents live in an area where they always have a lot of Christmas lights, so posted an Instagram pic of that. It was super cold. That's kind of the theme of the end of 2017 and early 2018. So cold. So cold.
Consistently below zero. For, yes, a long time.
Yeah. And I know that some of these areas, people don't have warm coats and stuff, but when people are talking about how cold it is and the wind chills are what like our actual temp, like just air temp is, my husband decided to really investigate wind chill.
Oh, okay.
/ real feel. And had like a whole soliloquy about it. If you ask Alexa what is wind chill, she will read you a whole formula, which she must have decided not to, on what it is. But did you know that it's basically a formula that tries to quantify how much heat your body is losing via air circulation? So objects that are in -1 degree weather can never be colder than -1 degrees. So it's just the speed with which you're getting down to that -1 degrees. So like you as a human that have like an ambient temperature of 98 degrees, when you go into -1 and the wind is blowing around you, your core temperature is going down at a much faster rate because of that air blowing versus it just being -1. It's the speed with which the wind circulation is helping the two temperatures equalize.
It's been heck cold.
It was like all of that to say, I've been cold.
This week I've been, why do I live here?
Oh, 100%.
Why is this a place people live? Like, the first week of negative temperatures, I was kind of rolling with it because that happens in
This too shall pass.
Yeah, it happens. It's all right. This is the end of the second week of cold ass temperatures.
Yeah.
Whether they were negative or not, they were definitely in the single digits, right? For the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And
no, we were excited when it hit 1.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
Woo, 1. Woo. And so, yeah, I was just cursing this morning, Minnesota, and why do I live here?
I said those exact words when we got in the car on New Year's Eve. I was like, we got done with we went and saw Jumanji, then we went and had sushi, and we got in the car and I was like, why do we live in a place where it hurts to breathe for like several months at a time when you're outdoors? Why do we choose to do that? But I mean, that said, that describes a large portion of the country right now.
This is very true.
So you could just choose not to live in the United States, which would be insane. Right. As an update on Chasimus, he is steady state. So we took him in before we were going to be out of town to get looked at. And the doctor basically said, you know, every once in a while, if you notice that he's not eating as much, maybe you can bring him in and we can give him a antibiotic shot to help with any sort of inflammation or infection that he's got going on. And I'm supposed to make sure that he doesn't have any masses that keep his mouth from closing. Or if he doesn't seem to be able to close his mouth. Did I say opening? Closing. But he seems to be kind of steady state. I know he's not eating as much as he used to. He does seem like he's eating less and he needs to be reminded to eat, and we're encouraging him to eat. And it's only soft food from here on out. But I wanted to apologize. On the playback when I was doing the notes, I realized that I had a sentence fragment that I cut myself short, and it made it sound like your thoughts and prayers wouldn't do anything, and that's not what I meant. I was thinking that when we took him in that they were going to tell us that he needed to be put to sleep. And so I cut myself short. Not that, I was thinking that by the time that the podcast had published, we would, your thoughts and prayers he would already have passed. But I'm super hopeful. I wouldn't say hopeful. When I get to be his age, when I'm 80, there's probably going to be some medications they have to give me every once in a while if I'm blessed enough to get to that point. Right. And some things that you do towards the end of your life to just keep going, right?
Gotta eat, Megan. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Did you do any resolutions this year?
Too many.
Okay.
I have a nutrition resolution, I have a workout resolution, and I wrote down a knitting resolution. I kind of want to bullet journalify them and take a picture of them, and I haven't gotten around to it, so yay!
I should have set a resolution to do that.
Yeah, apparently.
Yep.
But nutrition-wise, I'm going to start doing macros. Oh, it pains me to just even think about it, but basically you have fats, proteins, and carbohydrates, and you need to eat all of those things when you sit to eat. So your breakfast should have fats, carbohydrates, and protein. Your snack should have fats, carbohydrates, protein. Your lunch, so just in different portions. And so I'm thinking about doing that. It starts this weekend. But I am overwhelmed by the amount of material that's involved with it. I do have we'll call her my nutrition doula. She's going to guide me and answer any of my questions. She's been doing it for a while and does coach people through it. So I have that person on Messenger speed dial, and I can get a hold of her whenever I have questions, but macros, and yeah, not super excited about figuring that out. But along with that, there's a fitness regime. So the goal that she had me set doesn't necessarily have to be about the diet, but along the lines of the diet. So one of them is drink less soda and more water. So if I can do both of those things in conjunction with each other, that will improve my health. And then the second one was, and I'm down. I don't drink that much soda. I'll just preface, this is a small change for me. It's more getting the water in than anything. And then the second thing is I want to get into the gym 3 to 4 days a week. And I signed up for a class that meets on Sundays, so I have no more lazy weekend excuse where I work out during the week and then just kind of lay around for the weekend. So I put that into place, and so I will have that for the next 4 weeks, and the macros, and then, yeah. So I've been doing really well this week. So if I go tomorrow, that'll be 3 days this week, and I'll start the week over on Sunday, having my workouts be Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
And what was your knitting goal?
A knitting goal. Oh my gosh.
Down to
so
0?
I think I posted that I might not last much longer.
Yeah.
So my knit to 0 goals are daunting now. You know, you get to the point where the things you have left to knit are so far from being done that you're just losing your mind. So I have them here to show you during the knitting discussion part of it. But my crafting goals, I want to do a spin 15 minutes a day. And I have been doing that since the start of the year. And that's to try to get through a bullseye bump that I had started many, many moons ago and get that into yarn. And then also spinning more with my electric wheel, my Hanson e-spinner. So I have a fiber that I put on there that I got at Maryland Sheep and Wool that I really want to just go through fairly quickly, but it's spinning kind of thin, so it's going to take a while. So 15 minutes a day until those 2 projects are done for sure, and then maybe I'll keep with it after they're done. But there is a goal in mind. I want to get those particular things done. So I'm just pushing through that 15 minutes a day. If I can at least get 15 minutes a day, I'll get that done. And then there's just so many lovely, wonderful new things that I want to cast on. So I'll get to the other part of it, you know, the knit to 0 part of it, when we talk about our finished objects.
Okay.
And stuff. And works in progress.
Okay.
What are your resolutions?
I have definitely taken a hiatus from reading. So you mentioned bullet journal, and anybody that knows me knows that I love a spreadsheet. And so I've created a spreadsheet, and it's got sections in it. So there's the fitness section, like you were talking about, and then there's kind of like a be well-rounded section, like reading. My designs have taken other than the book designs, have taken a back seat. I have a lot of them that are basically done that I just need to do, write up and get out to test knitters and tech editing and layout and whatever, right? Like just those final steps, like get those in.
There is a loopy challenge in the beginning of the year where one of the things was design and publish a pattern. I don't know if it has to be your first one, because after it mentions something about start your business or start your design. So I don't know if you have to be a first-time designer to have it qualify. But I would think if you bothered to write and publish a pattern in the 6 months that were part of this thing, you would get the points, and you get you could save up points and get prizes.
Cool.
So
yeah,
I looked into that and decided that if I was going to knit to 0 or start any of the other projects that I had in mind, none of that was going to get done.
Yeah. So with reading, I do a lot of audiobooks now. It seems to fit better into like being able to knit or have other things kind of going on. And so I'm currently listening to The Girl with the Lower Back Tattoo, Amy Schumer's book. Super funny, but also very raw, very, she's very open and vulnerable. And I really, like, that isn't a persona that you see, like, in her comedy a lot, I guess.
Oh, I see it.
You see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I also follow her on Instagram and other things, too.
Okay.
So
Have you read the book?
No.
Well, I would highly recommend
Okay.
it. I absolutely love it. You get a little bit of her backstory, you get a little of her stand-up comedy, get a wee bit of politics. Specifically, there was a shooting at one of the train wrecked showings, and she's kind of sort of championing.
I remember that.
Yeah, championing gun control causes. But absolutely loved it. Like, I'm getting to the end of it, and I'm like, oh, I'm really sad when it's over. Will I have another book like that to read? I also want to continue to, I've noticed more and more I'm not calling my mom as much. So I've got a QT with family and friends, little checkbox that I can check for the day. And the big one, the one that has been weighing on me heavily, is that if you know me, again, spreadsheets, check. Also, I don't eat a great deal. But what turns out what I do eat is sugar. Because I kind of I did
lots and lots of carbohydrates.
Tons and tons, not just I'm kind of okay with carbohydrates. It's the sugar, like, so
sugar is a carbohydrate.
I know, but it's labeled differently. It's like carbs and sugars. Okay. So I had some blood work drawn, and I was on the cusp of being pre-diabetic. Granted, I think the night before was my anniversary, so we had sushi, and I had an apple, and I had a latte, which are all very high in sugar, turns out. So yeah, my general day had a lot of sugary coffee drinks, yogurt, which is packed full of sugar, I've come to find out, fruit bars, like bars that have been like nuts, which I can still eat. But I was regularly consuming, I would say on a good day, probably 5 times, if not 6 times the amount of sugar that's recommended. So you and I, being females, are recommended 25 grams of sugar. If you eat an apple, that is 16 grams of sugar. So you're only allowed to have 9 other grams of sugar for the rest of the day. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people have tried to convince me that that's added sugar, that 25 is the added sugar. And I'm like, your body doesn't care whether it has been added or whether it's naturally in there. So my latte at Starbucks is 75 grams of sugar, 3 times the amount of sugar I should have in a day. My yogurts generally ranged from 25 to 30 grams of sugar. Another daily allowance of sugar. My fruit bars have 17 grams of sugar in them. So I was just sugar. And so I decided I was going to, not only for like Alzheimer's concerns, but also diabetic concerns, like try to at least decrease. I knew that I couldn't take on carbohydrates and sugars, like, so I'm not going carb free. I'm not doing Atkins or anything like that, but I am trying to reduce the amount of sugar that I have. And so down to the 25, right? And I can tell you it is not pleasant. I have not had a happy 4 days. I have a constant headache. It's the 4th.
No, 2 weeks. Oh. You're going to have a headache and be angry for 2 weeks.
Shh. Everything online told me it was like a week. So,
and actually I think that I read one of them that was 18 days.
Wow. Anyway, so headaches. Yesterday I was so nauseous that I went home from work early because I thought perhaps I was coming down with stomach bug, but turns out it was just
detox.
Well, yeah, my body going, you just put a bunch of stuff in here and it wasn't sugar. Ate a lot more meat in the last couple of days than I've ate in all of 2017, probably. Meats and cheeses, which again, I know that it's balance, right? Mm-hmm. You can't just eat meat and cheese because then you could get high cholesterol, or if I'm substituting sugar for sodium, but I really had to get the sugar under control. Like, again, wasn't eating much. So my husband's point was like, but like, don't you feel fuller when you eat all this stuff? And I was like, I had no problem not eating a lot. Like, now I'm eating because I can't eat the things I eat. But But yeah, it's miserable, and I don't ever want to have to do this again, so I'm never going back on the sugars. I'm never going back. Jeremy's like, what do you want to do for your birthday? And I'm like, I don't care. It's not going to include sugar. Sugar. Give me sugar. But I think it was Java Jenny posted out on Instagram, like, a thing that said, like, carbs are crack. Like, I have a chemical dependency on sugar.
Sugar is
it's addictive. It's totally addictive.
Yeah, they say it's one of the main addictive killers, right? Because you can get so many problems with sugar addiction.
Yeah. So I may experiment with eating a little bit more fruit because I really do enjoy fruit, and it is a natural sugar. So if it bumped me a little bit over the 25 on a given day, right? But I think the thing I'm missing the most is every morning I make one of those, I had one of those international coffee lattes that had like twice the amount of sugar I was supposed to have in the day. Kick off the day with a good twice the amount of sugar you're supposed to have in the day. But ultimately I need to eat less processed foods because processed foods, they add sugar for as a preservative and as an addictive. To get you like, I want it, and it's tasty. Oh, it's so tasty. So yeah, and even milk has sugar in it, but that's lactose. So yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. It's a really fun little thing I'm doing to myself here, I guess. Just in time for my birthday. Jeremy was, I know it was one of my coworkers was like, did you ever think maybe you should start your New Year's resolutions after your birthday? Since your birthday is a week after New Year's. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down. But I did go have a really good Dunkin' Donuts latte with you on New Year's Eve. They handed us a bag full of croissants for free to take home, and I had a croissant while I was watching Jumanji, which 2 thumbs up. I would highly recommend it. The Rock is really funny in it. Jack Black, I don't know. I think he took the impersonation a little too far. He was playing he was supposed to be the avatar for a woman.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. The thing about my diet is I've done the whole life challenge, and that does cut out all sugar that's not fruit based, right? So like not even honey, right? You're not supposed to have honey, you're not supposed to have, I think agave plant was the closest, or not agave, stevia.
Yep.
The stevia leaf. That's the closest thing you could get to sugar on that wasn't like an apple.
Well, stevia is pretty tasty.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely. It's just one of those things that nobody wants you to put a sugar additive, even if it's the stevia plant, into your food, because that's that addictive response again. Sweet begets sweet. So even if it's not a real sugar, anything that you taste as sweet begets sweet. So like with the fruits, you have it and you're like, oh my gosh, this fruit has never tasted so sweet in its life, because you've been off of it for so long. So you bring it back in and you're like, all the fruits and stuff taste so wonderful now, and they don't taste like lesser than all of those processed foods, because the processed foods have more sugar and addictive receptors.
I've always loved fruit.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, you know, if an apple pie turnover is something that you would normally have, and you compared it to an apple, and you're like, this apple is crap, because it's not an apple pie turnover. If you gave up both of them, that apple would taste pretty damn good at the end of a month.
Yep.
Of giving it all up. So you just retrain your taste buds to crave things that aren't 100% sugar.
Refined sugar.
Yes,
apples are pretty much 100% sugar.
Processed, yes. Yeah, yes, true. Yeah. And and I don't know, I would say that most of my habits that are on the meals are pretty good. I have everything that I've been doing in mentally preparing for this diet change has been like, oh crap, like I have been snacking out of control for the last couple weeks. You know, to a month probably, complete month. 30 plus days of solid like, oh, I see that, I want that, I eat that. I see that, I want that, I eat that. Chips, donut, whatever it is. And so, going back to thinking about everything that I eat and saying no to things that while I want it, it's not good for me. Yeah, back to discipline, back to the grind.
You're like, oh, now I understand why Megan gets so much knitting done. She's fueled by sugar.
Yeah, actually, just one last little thing to say about the diet is that I'm freaked out by having to have protein at everything that I do. I don't think of
seems heavy
snack as protein, but they want you to hit that. It is so you don't have the spikes and dips. You have more even. And I don't know. They want you to kind of put more carbs in your morning so that you're ready for your workout. And then after the workout, you need lots of protein. And then the rest of the day is just trying to balance out your macros. So where you are after you get through those accomplishments is, okay, this is what the composition of my dinner needs to be because I haven't hit all of my macros yet. And you must eat every 3 hours. So again, yeah, macros. Lots of information. I just spent last night reading it, so sorry. Burden everybody with that.
I shared about a lot of things. Wind chill, and all right. So we have a few things to talk about. I was going to mention, and I know you've got your KAL that wrapped up as well. I was a little lax days ago on locking the thread, so I did include the late entries, but it has now been locked for the December self-striping. I think my pen just died. Okay. I don't think I need to write anything though. That's 2 through 1423. So we've had 1,423 entries for 2017. And what I am giving away is I like mushy peas on 716 Twist. Again, Jenna very generously sent some self-striping our way.
She has a new website. It's fantastical. And last I saw, she was offering a coupon code. So follow her on the grams. You'll get those discounts.
I can't say that I dislike mushy peas. I mean, I think I prefer frozen peas over canned peas for sure.
Yeah, flavor's better.
And then I didn't grab a bag, but I've got a bag. So a yarn bag and bag from the Silver Shed USA, and she's got some fancy new scissors that she's doing a pre-order on.
That's right.
That she designed and are super cute. Look like a sheep.
Yeah, they're sheepy scissors. You can see them on my Instagram. And her Instagram, and yeah,
everywhere. They were everywhere at one point.
I hope so. Yeah, super cute. She drew the sheep, designed the scissor, and worked with the Kilmscott. So they make those little gem snips, good scissors, like
really good. Yeah.
Ever since I discovered them, I've been collecting little bits of different types of scissors from them, and really good scissors. I haven't had a chance to play with the ones that my mom made yet, even though she has a prototype. So
I think every knitter needs a pair of sheep scissors.
Yeah, sheep snips. So
so a bag from her or a design from my individually downloadable patterns. It doesn't have to necessarily be a sock pattern or a sack pattern. I don't have one of those either, but any pattern that you're interested in knitting. So I drew 3 winners. We have 600, which is Joy Hill, who is Joy. We have 1123, 1123, Knitter Chow, that is Kathy. It was a very lucky day for Kathy's because the 3rd winner is 824, that is Mountain Pearl Kathy. And so if you're unfamiliar, It's the order with which you contact me and your preference and your shipping address should I need to ship something out to you. I wish I had grabbed the bag. Okay. Also in Administrati. Hey! What?
Pins.
Pins? Okay. I was like, well, this is what I wanted to talk about, but I thought maybe you were talking about your KAL.
Oh, but that's for ZK chatter at the end, right?
No, your blanket. Your blanket KAL.
Oh, yes. Get your entries in. We had 6 people make it all the way to the end of the KAL with me. Yay! I am determining a small but nice prize to go out to each of the 6 people who knit along with me the whole way through. And then they are going to then enter into we finished our blanket, so they finished the hexes, but they got to sew it together and take a picture of the final blanket and put it out in the final blanket thread. So each of you have been contacted, and I think most of you have seen and responded to my earbird. So please don't forget. You have until the end of February, and you will be entered into a grand prize drawing for your finished blanket. So I even have collected a few addresses already for those people. So
cool.
If you haven't seen it and you think, oh, I have 24 items, the thread has been locked. I have already counted the people who have completed the challenge. So we only had one person who was knitting along and forgot to do entries, and so she just took one final big picture of all of her hexes together in one spot to show that she had been playing along. She just hadn't put her individual ones as she was going out on the threads.
Exciting.
But yeah, very exciting. So yeah, those 6 people, awesome. Thank you, and please get into that potentially 6-person drawing. So I mean, odds are really good. So finish that blanket.
Yes, definitely. And then, as we normally do with the self-striping, we do the 12-month All-Stars. So if you had 12 entries, I will open a thread and kind of like that final blanket. You have to enter yourself into that, and we'll probably draw towards the end of January. I've got a couple of ideas about who I'd like to ask to dye up our special colorway, but I don't have any what I want it to be ideas yet. So maybe if you have a thought of something that comes in sets of 12. So we've done birthstones. I can't remember what our past. I think last year I just picked a self-striping colorway out there that I liked. I think it was a Gilmore Girls inspired one.
I have a collection of them. I get the spoils of your hard work.
Exactly.
Order 2.
Yes.
Yay.
That's right. Yes. And then yeah, like self-striping is wont to do, it just kind of blows up. But yes, thank you to everybody that participated, and not just those that did all 12 months, but we do a special drawing for the 12-month All-Stars. So go out there and say, I'm an all-star. And if you have an idea in the episode thread, let me know. Like, it comes in sets of 12. I don't know. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's easy. You get a good idea and you run with it. And I'm just not feeling like, what should the 12 stripes be? So that's the KALs. We have a KAL with the birthday kit that is either with the yarn, which I don't have the yarn, from Queen City, or my hat pattern, Less Lumber, More Party. Yeah, so the yarn or the hat pattern. We could probably extend it to be Queen City as well, because she was the dyer, or the bag was the Silver Shed USA, so I guess you could post a picture of a project in that project bag and get one entry. We can find all kinds of ways to participate in
yes. More entries, better.
Yes. But the hat pattern went out on December 31st. I was like, I have to get it done in 2017. So it went live. I have a coupon code out there that's until my birthday, January 7th. And it's so the pattern after the coupon is $2. And that coupon code is more party. I have a lot of patterns for these party kits that have the word party in them.
Partying up.
Getting down. Less lumber, more party. So yeah, and I think we talked about it I can talk about it when it's my FO and not that, but I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that those went out, and if you got a kit and you didn't get gifted it, please let me know, because I thought I hit everybody.
Okay.
All that to say, so then yes, we have pins. Okay. We have pins.
See, I jumped way ahead.
I know, but it is super exciting, and I'm right there with you. So we've got extra pins because of the minimum quantity that we had to order of both the gal sitting and knitting and the gal laying down and knitting. They are 1.5 inch pins with 2 backs on them. They aren't rubber backed, they're the actual clasp back. And because this gal is horizontal, she takes up a lot more of the 1.5 inch. I think you can see the difference with her horizontal versus this is more of a square, so it ends up being a larger pin. But we kind of talked through last time where I kind of rambled and talked about how we would have liked to have been able to reveal that there are pins, so you could say, actually throw another extra pin in there and I'll pay the blah blah blah. So what instead we're going to do is, if you bought a birthday kit and you would like to buy the complement to your, so say you got the gal laying down and you'd really like to get the gal sitting up, or you got the gal sitting up and you really like the gal laying down, we're going to ship that to you with no shipping. So for $9 we will send out your, and you'll have to tell us which one, and that will be sent out via an email, that link will. And then anybody else who just thinks they're super adorable and wants to get them, they're $9 plus $3 shipping. That shipping cost is basically what it costs to ship them. All of that to say. And if you decide that you like both of them and you'd really like to have the set is $16 plus that same $3 of shipping. So there's no extra shipping on getting the 2-pack versus the one. So it's the same flat rate, $3. And they're super cute, limited quantities. I had a great deal of people that know me well and know that I have a recent obsession with those pins, gave me some as gifts for Christmas. So I'll show them off. But we've done a lot of lathering, and we should talk about our FOs.
Okay, I have one.
Well, your big one got left at home.
I didn't bring,
the blanket. The blanket, was it on top of somebody and you didn't want to be like, thunk?
Yeah, I don't know. It had a cat on it. I guess I had really thought that I had already shared it. So my brain.
You were weaving it in.
Oh, okay. That's where I was with it. Okay. So it was here and it was mostly done, but I was weaving it in.
And I think connecting, maybe? No?
Okay.
I don't know. I think you were connecting.
I don't know. It was on my lap and it felt really huge the last time I brought it on, so I thought I'd already done it. Okay.
You took
my
the
bad.
final, like, it's finished pic on Instagram.
Okay. Well, my bad. I did some double knitting of a chair cushion. This is a Lucy knit bee pattern that is Xenia? Yeah, Xenia. So this can be a blanket, or, because she's got charts that keep on going, or you can stop at the chair cushion. So I stopped at the chair cushion. I think I put these in the wrong place for my chairs, so I'm not sure. She had you do it before you put on the border, so they're pretty much where they are, unfortunately. And everything is still on the needles when I did it, so I would have had to take in the double knitting and put all of the double knitting onto a spare needle and then tried to jerry-rig, or, she did try to tell you where to put them, and I thought that I had done it correctly, but they do feel wide apart. That being said, it just makes when it's tied to the chair, have this little piece up, and it's still
very pretty.
A cushion. It's not much of a cushion. It's very thin, but it's woolly, and it's supposed to felt as you use it, and get, I don't know, yeah, just felt it. I did contemplate really felting it, although I might throw it on my seat on the car on the way home to save my buns from the negative temperatures on the car seat.
I remember that was a pretty long running work in progress. I
Yes.
remember when you started working on it.
Yes, and we will see from the few that I brought that I have left that it was one of several. I almost feel like I should frog the ones that I have, but no, this is it. It's still got ends hanging out, but it came off of the blocking mat to be put in my bag to come over here. So those will get woven in, and it'll be either put on a chair or be put in the car. It might end up in the car. Sounds like a good plan.
It would be a pretty car cover. I agree. So I got on a bit of a sock kick towards the end of 2017 and into 2018. But before I did that, I used some of my Spun Right Round and Madeline Tosh. I can't remember what I did with the Spun Right Round previously. Oh, I knit the Lineate by Blue Bee Studios. And so I wanted to knit a larger size with multiple repeats and to see how much yarn it used. And these two were kind of sitting there as leftovers, and so I combined them. I really like the solid as the contrast color versus the main color on that matches the brim, because it really makes how the colors are, the variegated is changing in the lesses and mores, the ins and outs there really pop out. Got to do a little fun slumber party photo shoot that dueled as a Ellie got new braces shoot. I sent my mom the picture of Ellie and Chaz, and Ellie wearing the hat, and Mom was like, or Ellie's like, did Grandma not ask why I was in a sleeping bag on the living room floor holding Chaz wearing a knitted hat? And I was like, she knows. It's just weird knitter staging, whatever, right? So yeah, it's a fun hat. I think it's a fun knit. I really like fingering weight hats. I think I've said that before. I'll probably say it again. Don't you think?
Yeah, it looks fun. Yeah, I'm on a knit one, but again, that knit to zero is still in my head. So then I had a leftover little ball. I can't remember if I knit skews with this. That's probably what it was. But this is the Corriedale.
Chances are high.
Straight sock. Well, it was socks. I knew it was socks. So yes, the chances are high. I did the tabulation out on Instagram. I did 27 pairs of skews in 2017.
How many pairs of socks?
I didn't do the full pairs of socks, but it was my 45th pair of skews, because you can see that at the end of your URL on your project page, your pages. It just keeps on appending the next number, and I haven't had any frogged. So. Okay. Yeah. But yes, this is Sturdy Sock by Diabolical in their Thunder Boom colorway, and these are Miss Ellie's little feet. Blues and greens. Although her feet are growing a little bit, so I think the feet are going to grow and then she's going to grow. I cast on Christmas Eve, my mom's Christmas present. She said she had one pair of socks that I had knit her, and that she was saving them for special occasions because she only had the one. And so I was like, well, I'll knit you a pair. This is Sun Valley Fibers MCN in the Boundary Waters colorway. And this is the Never Lost Together socks. I was a leg short. Yeah. I was a leg short of finishing them by the time we left the day after Christmas.
and need to mail them to her. But she did try on the one, so I know it fits.
It's not the skew for Jeremy. It's not going to need to be reknit in the gauge.
Oh no, these are for her as well.
Oh, okay.
We'll get to that in works in progress. I figured if I didn't get one pair done in time for a Christmas present, when I mailed her a pair, I should mail her two.
Oh, well, that's nice.
You know, logic. Hashtag guilt. But yes, I really like what the pattern did with the variegated and at this circumference, right? This number of stitches around. And then I, towards the end of the year, decided I had been hoarding this destination yarn in the International Space Station colorway for too long. It had been caked up and it was just sitting there.
Oh.
And every time I picked it up to like knit something with it, I was like, oh, that's not a good project. You know, like in my mind, like it had to be a special project because I hunted this down at Stitches Midwest one year and she didn't have it. And she's like, but I do have some that I'm bringing out. Like she was restocking it the next day. Like there was a limited quantity for that day. I'm almost 100% certain I'm not making this story up.
Okay.
But yes, I explicitly sought it out at Stitches Midwest, and I think that there was a supply and demand there that made me really covet this. And it's super fun. I love how variegated's knit up with the skew, and this one striped down on the foot, so accidental stripes. And I have quite a bit left over, so Ellie will most definitely be getting some matching socks out of those, and those are my shopping.
Awesome.
Yes. And as I said on Instagram, I feel like I'm quoting myself on Instagram a lot, but I do say things there that I feel like I want to share with people that maybe don't follow me on Instagram.
Exactly.
Maybe I should just not mention that I said it on Instagram. But instead, I feel like the people that follow me on Instagram are going to be like, she already said that, and she's playing it off like she hasn't already said it. Anyway, I still talk fast even when I'm not on sugar. Noted.
Still detoxing.
My body probably still has it like stored in some pockets somewhere in there.
It's either burned off or turned into.
I hope everybody has a project that's like that for them, like that makes them supremely happy. They always love the results. They love what they wear, or wearing it, gifting it, and that you just have endless supply. Like I could pick up any skein of yarn in my stash and be like, oh, and super variegated, check. I don't know that a plain, like just 100%, not even a tonal. I can't pick up any skein, okay? But I do have an infinite supply, a lifetime supply.
You do. It's not infinite, but it'll make it through her lifetime.
Lifetime supply of sock yarn. Self-striping may not be lifetime, but definitely sock yarn. And it's just nice. It's just, for me, I often, when I get into like I can't make a decision mode, it's really nice for me to have something that I can just pick up and knit. And the skew is that for me, and I hope that everybody has that. Annette shared with me that hers is the Quaker yarn stretcher. She can pick up some hand spun, she can pick up any skein of yarn and knit a Quaker yarn stretcher. Yeah, I haven't knit that yet.
Oh, okay.
I haven't knit it yet. I told her I should.
Totally should.
Yep. Works in progress.
So I have my Prairie Fire.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Yeah, and I got a little orange going on here today.
I loves it.
Between me and this top and the thing I'm knitting. So I've got like about that much done, and I'll have one more of my knit to zeros done.
Boo. Achievement unlocked.
The only thing that's bugging me about this currently is that I couldn't decide where to put this line of the changing of the skeins. I wanted it to go along. I wanted it to go more along the arm, but then I ended up trying to change it to go there, and it made it gappy and it looked bad. So I ripped back and I just kind of made it go along one side instead of down the middle. Because when you finally get to the underarm, you can put it along the side and then have it follow right along the line that where you're switching colors on the inside of the V.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was so much better after this bit. So I have like a little line detail.
It might block out.
It might. I don't know.
You can zhuzh. We'll stitch zhuzh.
We'll stitch zhuzh and we will...
Retention. That's
and,
the word I'm trying to champion.
Yes.
You can retension. Just like these underarm retention those, right?
I will. Yeah. All of these things will either be retensioned or tried to block. But yeah, right now it's bugging me because it's in that it's not blocked state.
And when she says that this was part of her knit to zero, you guys are imagining that she got to like a sleeve and then set it aside. It was like basically she liked the idea of the sweater and cast it on and then set it aside.
It was a sweat. It was a neck.
Yeah.
Like just the garter stitch portion of the neck. That's all I had on the needles when I decided to knit it to zero.
Mm-hmm.
But I was more in love with it than my other projects. So in an effort to be honest about my knit to zero,
it's the theory of relativity of whips.
So I do still have these 3 projects, and then there are 2 pairs of socks for my kids.
Which we established don't count.
And then I have self-striping balls that in order to put off working on these or anything else, I did into gobstoppers. So that I might,
a good time waster.
Those might they might come back. You might see those before the end. But
paper garment.
So yeah, this is my paper garment. I have it in little glass bowls in here because it likes to jump and catch, and it's not the most fun knit in the world.
She has little glass bowls. And super portable, this project.
Yep, not at all.
What does that sound? What are you trying to put
I tried to
lady?
put it in little baggies, and then those baggies would twist up.
So it had to have some weight.
It did have to have some, anyway. And it doesn't travel. It stays at home most of the time. But I am in the section of this garment that says knit to 48 inches. This is how much I have done. 4 feet. I don't even have a foot here. This is the garment that never ends.
Why is it 48 inches? Is it side to side?
I believe so.
Okay.
I'll show the picture.
It's like a boxy.
Well, but it's like a boxy with a shrug. So that's the pattern. There's the front.
Very cool.
So yes, it's one where you'll join. This part that I'm working on is a sleeve. In theory, as we work our way across. I don't know. No, maybe not.
48 inches.
48 inches. Before I
so
can
is this
even
one that you're
think
thinking about not using the paper for? I mean, it seems like it's ideal for it, right?
Oh no, I will. If I get this done, it's probably going to be not now and not in knit to zero. I'm just saying. 48 inches is going to bleed the life out of my knitting mojo. Like, I will have none left. So I did pick up and start knitting on it again, but it might need to be that, like, prescribed knitting. Like, get a few more rows done, Amy, because you want to get this garment out of your life. I mean, into your closet and not sitting in a pile in pieces.
Clank, 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 clank.
Yes, I know. It was the thing that worked.
I know. I admire your creation of a solution that is outside of the box, but I laugh at the implementation of said solution.
So anybody else who is ready for another one that's laughable,
okay,
this is my other one. It is the start of a sleeve.
And you were all about it. Heart on his sleeve.
This is, the heart on the sleeve. knits. And so I was choosing the Isolde version of Heart on a Sleeve with this here. It's gorgeous. It's a finished. It's Rowan hemp tweed. It's super nice. I'm excited to knit with it. And again, like the pattern, like I really like the story of the Heart on the Sleeve. I wanted to start it.
Label. I may need some of this in my life.
Yeah, good luck.
Is it?
I don't know. But good luck. So yes, I love, want to do it. It will get done, but this is how far
much
I am.
yardage do you have?
Do I have of this? I think I have 10 balls.
Okay.
So,
just curious. I've been really tempted by the cordage KAL that's going on, that big pocketed cardigan, but it takes a lot of yardage. It's like, for my size, it's like 1,800 yards in DK.
This is going to be me like going, oh, why can't this be top down? Like, the yardage is pretty close.
Okay.
But the sweater I bought this for is very similar construction. So, and it was written for this yarn. And so I'm like, well, pattern translation, it should work. Let's just hope we're not going on fumes at the end.
I was giving her an out. I was thinking, like, you could rip it out and do the portage, but no, you're going to stick with that because you've got 2 inches on that. Gosh.
Well, not that
You're still excited to do it.
That pattern and that yarn are still going together.
Okay.
And I still really enjoy them. I'm like this far in, and there's so many other things that are recent in my mind and want to be worked on. They have the mojo behind their backs, you know, pushing them into my life.
And last, but certainly not least, the butterfly double knitting.
Yes, my butterfly double knitting scarf, which has not gotten much love, but I did finish this, so now my double knitting skills are better. So I'm thinking that once I get through that and I go back to this, it might go faster. I'm actually thinking it will go faster. So I might have to pick this up just to see, you know, out of curiosity, will this go faster? I know that this pattern is very intuitive as far as like, okay, and now I'm switching. And this one is 8 pages of charts. So it's not the same. This one takes a lot more careful reading in order to get the image of butterflies to happen on both sides. So if you are going along and you're like, oh, well, that side's supposed to be over here and this side's supposed to be over there, and then, oh crap, I messed up this row. So
it is hard to tink back double knitting, right?
Yeah, it takes time. It's not hard.
It's not like a rip back and just pick up the stitches. It's really hard.
Yeah. You can't do that. I would not suggest doing that.
Yeah.
I would suggest just...
And I struggle with anything that I can't do.
Yeah.
And you picked that up at Vogue Knitting Live last November, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's wonderful yarn. It's Sun Valley Fibers. It's gorgeous and it's awesome. And her kit was basically the cost of the yarn. I don't know how much of it was pattern. I mean, it just couldn't have been
good
much.
value.
Yeah, it was good value. And I'm seeing that there's some... Oh, that's just a flaw in the scanning sheet. Yeah, it's a manufacturing error on the yarn, not my knitting. Good. I was worried I had a snag or something. Nope, it's just where they put the plies together and it has to be redone. Anyway, sorry. Got distracted. Butterfly.
Sugar.
And then, so those are the knit to zero, along with Sun's sock is decreasing the heel gusset, and then it'll be flying on to the end. when I was knitting on these, it felt like, oh, these should be done in no time, and then I put them away and never looked at them again. So I should get back on that.
Our little Christmas get-together, right?
Yep. That was my walking sock when we were downtown. And then the pickle bag. Where's the pickle bag? No. Pickle bag. My daughters are still on the new flexi needles. Still enjoying them for the most part, but what I'm really enjoying is this colorway from Leading Men Fiber Arts. This was a prototype, so it's a one-of-a-kinder. Unless I can say, hey, Steve, this was called Zombie Queen, I think, when it was a prototype. And I don't know, I'm just thinking, loving the way it's looking.
Yeah.
It's super dark, and it's striping in this circumference, and so cool.
Yes, a variegated striper, accidental striper.
Super cool.
Yes.
So that is it for those, and then I have my little, I made gobstoppers.
Oh, that's fun. What's this one?
You tell me.
Kirby Werby in the blue jeans and rainbow suspenders.
Thank you. It's like she bought it, I said gimme.
I was grabbing hands and bought too many of them and then needed to distribute. Yes.
So I was like, yep.
I have a pair of 2 right-footed SKUs out of that.
That's right. Yeah, so I got carried away and did 2 gobstoppers. This is the Desert Vista Dye Works Sparkles. If They Kill, starts with an M. I don't know. Sorry. I don't watch The Walking Dead. My husband does, and so I don't know who it is, and I couldn't remember. I thought the colors were pretty.
Pink and sparkle.
I thought the colors were pretty, and so they're for me. But I went a little outside my comfort zone and ordered sparkle this time around. So I got 2 skeins in sparkle. But anyway, I babbled on. It's your turn.
As I mentioned, I'm mentally knitting in the KAL of Portage, but I have not tossed my stash. I know I have. I'm thinking currently that I'll knit it in Sun Valley Fibers, their BFL base, with the My Favorite Forester colorway. It's loosely inspired by the actual photography that is in the design picture is brown, but for some reason I just need to make sure that I have enough, because I know that I probably bought a lot of that, but I don't know if I bought 1,700 to 1,800 yards of that. So that's a lot of yardage.
It is a lot of yardage.
But it's a very big pocketed cardigan. So other than my mental knitting and my design work that I'm not going to show, I cast on a pair of SKUs for my mom. Earlier tonight I had 2 pairs, I had 2 pair of socks here, and I asked my husband to try them on to make sure that they fit over his heel because they have a similar length, and he said, the one you just finished fits real good, but this one I can't hardly get it over my foot. And you're not going to be able to see there, no matter what high definition you've got going on. But around this yellow stripe here, things started to get a bit looser.
She was super relaxed.
I was chilled. I was like, I don't need sugar. I'm just gonna. So, and it was super tight on this one. In fact, to the point where I finished with a different color. And I was like, well, I don't have enough to try to make it right because I want it to be a similar length. But hopefully this will rectify that situation. I just had to rip out most of a sock.
Okay.
Just. It is a sport weight, and I did decrease or make this a little. So I only did 33 stitches per side, per needle for this because it was sport. But I am knitting it on ones, so it's sport on ones. It is nomadic yarn in the Life Aquatic, and it is her twisty sport. And I was very cognizant. My mom doesn't really like tall socks, but I made sure that when I got to that point, I was going to have enough, that I had exactly half. So it does look a little short. I immediately, after joining, went into the unbiasing the bias. So yeah, and now I'm just kind of happily knitting away the third half of my sock.
Great.
Yeah. Enabling?
I'm sure I bought some. Oh, I did. I bought something. I did.
A lot of Vesper has been coming into my life.
Okay. So, I have
Pins!
lots of pins that I have acquired recently from friends and from sale bins. I got this pineapple from a sale bin. But yes, starting to add to a collection, and I ended up purchasing the metal backs from Amazon. Megan can show you an example. Yep. And
They're like $6?
Yeah.
And they're
50.
prime, and there's 50 of them. They come in this tin, which you could use for something else, like stitch markers if you really wanted. And they're nice and they're deep.
Yep.
I can link. I have other pin backs that actually were the clipping style, but they didn't like engage and lock on as nice as these do. So Mutter is the brand that I got. I don't know if yours are, but you can see
Same tin, so I'm sure it's the same.
14 of them I've replaced.
Yeah. No, I quickly replaced them all and put a lot of my valuable or favorite ones on my bag, and it is traveling, so hopefully, because this one says everything shiny, Captain. It's my, and then this
Here's
one is
your loot box.
Yeah, this is also one from my Firefly. I got this Firefly one. Oh, Big Damn Heroes. Oh, Big Damn Heroes, sir. And then I got a couple book-related ones and nerdy ones.
Big Yak.
Got Code Boss and Hello World.
Fun.
But first coffee. Yeah, so
very cool. Yeah, I got an owl. Amy got me this one was a very cool surprise. A Snorlax, because he was my Pokemon Go Great White Whale. I got these from, and I made my little sheep into wearing a sweater and hat. Nice and Knit, I believe, was where those came from. And a little yarn plus needles heart I got from Amy. I also put on my Team Magic Loop button, not pin. But yeah, I'm getting quite the collection as well. I thought about maybe consolidating into one. This is my leftovers.
yeah, like this bag might be a bit busy for your pin collection because you can't really see it on the pattern.
Yep. But yeah, this is my sock arms, my little sock arms for Ellie.
Oh,
that I haven't cast on.
That's right.
Yeah, I was thinking I'd have it. And then I had Carla sent me these.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, a little pine cone and a
those are tiny.
light.
Very cute.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. People know that I'm and my little Hawaiian Vulpex, I guess.
I think it's like Aloha region, yeah.
So I think I mentioned last time that Vesper sock knitterly things had a couple of Christmas colorways that she was doing a pre-order for super cheap. And hers are always super reasonable. I got her, this is the new self-striping with, the new merino with nylon, not the thicker base that was merino nylon. So this is Comfort and Joy. It's got some nice blues and pinks and kind of a deep plum. Super love it. This one is Electric Revolution, so super neon. That one just fell in. That one wasn't on sale.
That joyful noise here that I'm admiring.
Mm-hmm.
I really like this bluey, dark, stunning.
Yes. And then my last club, so spoiler alert if you're in the club, I really like. This is Wishing You Warmth. So this is the speckle stripe.
Ooh.
Yeah. Isn't that pretty? So darn pretty. So pretty. And I always try to time it every year to get my Leading Men Fiber Arts year in review on my birthday. It's fun to open those packages, those 10 little bundles of joy. So I'm excited about that. I ordered that just this week though, so it might not make it.
And you get those in BFL, yeah?
I didn't this year. I did Showstopper
okay.
Versus their BFL base. Just because I have last year's in BFL, I thought I'd become more well-rounded in my Leading Men Fiber Arts stock. I've knit up a lot of my Showstopper already, I guess.
What I decided to do was to start my year in review 2018.
So I
pre-ordered the January one instead of ordering the 2017 year in review.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always hem and haw because I want it when they release them for the month, but then I always like to get the year in review.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess there's no harm in having 2 of them. That's what Steve and Andy would want you to do.
Right.
But, yeah, I don't know. There's just something about getting them all together and seeing them next to each other. I really enjoy that their monthly colors are often kind of the more work, highly variegated, lots of color ones, right? I enjoy their staples as well, but I do enjoy that they're monthly. Like Yarn Hoarder seemed so like... but I think that was last year's. It wasn't this year. Yeah,
this year, oh gosh, I've already forgotten the name of it, but I really liked the pops of the seafoamy green.
Oh, the last one? The sea turtle one?
No.
That was inspired by their...
No, this
month. Okay, January.
2018, January, sorry.
Yep. Yeah, no, pretty.
No,
super pretty.
I really liked a lot of the ones from last year too.
Well, you know, somebody that's good.
I can look at them in person and be jealous.
Like, are you gonna knit that anytime soon? Because I'm gonna knit it now. Yeah. And then I'll be like, shenanigans! You're knitting to 0.
Shenanigans, yeah.
Sorry.
Socks don't count. Give it to me now.
Give me some sugar.
Yeah. No, I think the Zombie Queen is actually tiding me over in the fiber art. That's so cool.
It's pretty pretty. Why didn't we choose that one?
Really? Because it was the Oofta or You Betcha, or the one that matched the bag exactly was the same year.
Yeah. Okay.
So it was like, oh, I think people will really like this one.
No, I agree. I think both of them would have been fine because we just had to choose one.
Right.
And that's what I have. My self-striping has increased a lot recently, which may have been what kind of kicked my re-skewing. That and not wanting to make decisions or dig through my stash, or it's just kind of like my default thing. We wanted to talk about ZK.
Yes, we do. So I was going to put threads out there before we started recording, but by the time this is published, by golly, there will be a thread for you to join our KAL for ZK 2018. This time there are just 2 teams, Team 1, Team 2. We will sort you, and then when we're ready to announce the theme / give you a peek at the logo, we will then tell you what Team 1 is and what Team 2 is and why they are Team 1 and Team 2.
I would really like a dramatic reveal.
Okay.
I don't know if we
you
could
get on that with your mind and
maybe like bring a screen out here with like and something covering it. We'd be like, and now your 2018 ZK logo is whoosh. And polite clapping. Yay! No, I like them all because we have a part in the creative process of creating them. So obviously they're going to be something that I like. But I'm excited about this year's, and I think the teams will be super fun. Yeah, regardless if you're number 1 or number 2. We probably shouldn't assign a number 1 or a number 2 because the numeric values have value as well, right? Like we could just be like A or B. No, then you got grading.
A or 1? You're team A or you're team 1?
Okay. I'm
Sound
overthinking
good?
it. 1 or 2.
Okay.
That's fine. I think that'd be way more confusing. Team Knit, Team Burl.
But then you will be assigned one or the other, and then it will matter. You will be reassigned, I guess, or relabeled.
Your true identity will be
There you go.
revealed.
Your true identity will be revealed. Until then, you are boring team 1 and team 2. This year, doing things a little bit differently, we are going to do grams so that spinners can spin their heart's content. Again, pay attention to who's dyeing the yarn and what patterns you might knit out of said yarn, and keep track of those things. With the vendors in the marketplace, that's all set, so please pay attention to that. That will be bonus points. You can knit one of Megan or I's patterns, that will be bonus points, but we haven't done a call out for designers, so we're not quite sure who the other designers might be. But if you're concerned about racking up those points, you can stick with Megan and I. And
well, or if you know a designer that's coming, but yes,
that wants to put their hat in.
We'll have the designer showcase sign up in short order so that we can get those announced. But anybody that's just hankering to jump in.
Right. Yeah. And then, so grams, if you want to be super honest about it, you can take a picture of the item on the scale, or you can do the approximation from the yardage that you did. Yeah. Again, clear. Have a total there for me. If you're posting multiple things in one, I don't know. It gets tricky. It gets messy quick.
Yeah.
But grams this year because of the spinners, and I'm gonna be on a spinning kick myself, so let's spin this year. Are we gonna participate this year?
I don't know. There is only 2 teams.
I know. I don't know though. She kicks my butt. That's just not fair.
What's the Burton Guster like?
Yeah. It's just not fair though. I don't know. Just give
Can
Amy
you
bonus
spin more?
points.
Is spinning as far as yardage faster than knitting?
Well, it'd be grams.
Grams, sorry.
Yes. So, because it was just much easier to say, okay, your final project is in grams rather than yards, because if you're spinning, I don't know, KAL. So go out, do just like last time, say, I'm in, and then I will randomly assign people to one team or the other. And don't, like, at this point, I'm not even sure if I'm going to do, I think I might do them in batches so that you won't know, like, 1-to-1, that, hey, if I wait, I can be in team 1. Oh, if I wait, I can be in team 2, you know. So it might be like, no, I'm going to do 1-1-2-2. Or, oh, I'm going to do 10, and 5 go this way and 5 go that way, you know. So I want to make it truly unpredictable for you, so that you don't think, oh, I want to be in team 1 with my friend, and nope, it's going to be random. It really, truly is. I'm not going to pick sides. The point
is to have fun and meet all kinds of people, and if you're with the group that is some people that you already know, then that's where random took you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's group karma.
And that's the way it was last time. It was random, and if people just happened to know each other in the groups, so please go out and join and get started. Again, everything that it's kind of a new year, new start. So you have to have started your project, no matter what it is, in 2018. Sorry, 2018.
Flip the
It's only day 4.
Yep.
I'm allowed a mistake or 2. Yeah. So exciting.
Yep.
Hey.
Oh, I forgot to mention one of my presents was from Corey, and it said "Bye Oofta," and it's quoting me. And I, being a horrible human being, have not asked her where she got it from, so I can ask her. I just was so tickled with it that I have our little saying at the end. So, bye. Bye, Oofta.